Welcome. This is the Simply King podcast, and I am Rodney Perry, also known as King. And this is the soulfully conscious podcast for humans simply being humans. And today, we're talking about anxiety. Yes, I always like to try to give a cool self-help episode every now and then, and it always helps me to be as transparent as I can be with these types of episodes. So, as you see, this length is not too long. I didn't want to keep you too long, but it's something to ponder on, something to think about on your drive or on your way to the gym, to work, while you're at the gym, while you're at work, however you listen. Make sure that you guys also go and follow and add me on your Spotify apps. If you're listening on Spotify, thank you. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, thank you. I thank everyone who's listening on all the places. You now can also listen to me and subscribe on YouTube as well. Every episode will be going onto YouTube. So fuck with the kid. Let's go. Let's get it. This is Simply King. So, money is the name of my anxiety. I know it seems so, like, I wouldn't say something that is a surprise, but I would say something that is unusual or rare. It's actually very, very common. As most forms of anxiety are. We're definitely not the only ones who have a certain affliction. But for a long time in my life, I didn't really think I was an anxious person or really see myself as that. But as I kind of, stepped into adulthood and have been in the real world, handling things and just dealing, just starting this whole adulting situation of just understanding what adulting really is. And I think just when I evaluate myself, it's like, damn, this is the thing that like really gets me going, like really makes me, feel so many different types of ways. So I thought, can I be afraid or have some anxiety around money? Is that a thing? Or is it like I'm just, broke and don't like being broke? What is it? Like, I thought that was just the feeling of, of the grind, the feeling of like, you don't have it, but you're trying to work for it, but you don't know if you'll have it, but you're still trying to, have that hope. But I thought all these feelings I was feeling I didn't relate them to be anxious or anxiety. But I think that isn't our first thing that we go to. I think we're, in the Black community, we are not big on just jumping to us being anxious because that just makes it sound, crazy and, not to, trigger anybody with that phrase. But I think that's the commonality that happens within the Black community is we don't really see those things being talked to us and spoken to us. You're usually told to pray about it. You're usually told to, sleep on it. You're usually told to just, go take it to the Lord and let it go, let it out. And, or it'll be all right, or just ask for help. And if we can't help, if we can't do nothing for you, then, it'll work itself out. It's a lot of kind of just let it be. While if you let certain things be, they can grow in you and fester and become even more of a problem that it's even harder to get rid of. But I have financial anxiety, and I didn't think this was a thing. Like, I really didn't until I Googled it, and I got so much. And I'm reading from a blog post from Experian.com. Experian, I believe, is a tax. I believe they kind of like do like tax monitor, like doing like tax scores and monitoring of taxes and things like that for businesses. But they have this blog that I think is pretty spot on to who and what I believe my anxiety exactly is. And I'll read a little bit from it. Money issues making you lose sleep. You're hardly alone. The American Psychological Association annual Stress in America survey consistently cites money as the biggest source of stress by about 2/3 of respondents. In the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis and resulting Great Recession, therapists have begun to explore that what's colloquially known as money anxiety disorder, or MAD. Here are some of the symptoms that might indicate you're suffering from MAD, which it's important to note it's not an official psychological designation and does not appear in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual published by the American Psychiatric Association. So it's a kind of, if anything, a social disorder. It's not seen as something that's, psychologically done. I feel like it's truly something where it's like you have built up the habits of a certain thing, and these habits are very familiar. It's a certain behavior that you built up that you're showing just like other people, and that thing can affect you negatively if consistently added upon. But the symptoms are like overspending, hoarding, frugal to a fault, which is me for sure. Like up and down, that is me. Financial incest, which I don't think that really applies to me. Financial infidelity, which I'm not married, but that one's kind of like, lying about what the finances are. Anxiety as the cause of money troubles. That's definitely me. For me, the way that I can break this down, that it's a real thing for me, is that because I feel like what made me start to see that this was something that was a problem was and I don't believe in comparing myself to other people, but I do pay attention to the reactions to the reactions that I give when I, express my opinions of a certain thing or a certain, explanation of my character. And I think in those moments is when I seen so much of myself and seen what thing, what makes me this way. And, when you reflect on that and you think about that, you try to really figure it out. So for me, it was like, damn, why am I a frugal person? Why am I, very need based and all of those things? But at the same time, I have the urge to, get out and party and travel and do these things that take money. I like to socialize, but all these different things. And when I realized it, once I moved to Chicago is where I feel like it manifested itself in the worst type of way. Because I feel like, unlike everywhere else, I think it was managed because of, the safety net of friends and familiarity. And so I feel like it didn't really show itself often, or it maybe wasn't just that strong and that big because it was kind of covered by, by school. I was covered by my hometown and my mom and my sister. But when, you get out into the real world and you're an adult now, and I'm getting out into the real, and my introduction into the real world was, a cold place like Chicago, it's hard. And I think what I learned about myself very fast was that I get anxious about payday, which is a weird thing. Like, why would you get anxious about the day that you literally are getting paid? And I think that was when I realized, like, this ain't good. Like, this is a problem. This is weird. This is strange. This is not what's up. And I just kind of blew it off. I was like, I kind of avoided the feeling and kind of just let it go. Cause I was just like, I know what it is. Just like I'm thinking about, all the things I got to kind of take care of on my payday. So, that's just what's in my mind or whatever. And then as time passed, and there was moments where, I got bonuses and I, had a lot of more money coming to me from one paycheck, or, tax time, all these things occurred in the 3 years. And I've made more money each year and I've done all these different things. And I'm trying to figure out, like, damn, why do I still consistently feel this feeling, even though things are being better? Like you looking forward to, the month where, your quarterly bonuses, you're looking forward to all these different things. Why do you still feel this way though? And that's when I realized that it's a problem, that this is really anxiety, because I am also the same feeling is when I'm flat broke. Like, how can I feel the same how can I feel anxious when I'm broke and then feel anxious when I'm getting paid? It's a weird feeling. It's a strange feeling, and I don't prescribe it for anyone. And I, certainly if this is something that you deal with as well, I would, certainly say that, I would love to, chat with you and kind of, if you are just realizing that or whatever stage, just to really pick your brain on how you're dealing with realizing this about yourself. And I'm glad that, I've realized this and, have seen this as something that I need to really analyze and do something about to make it me not that way, because I think it truly affects all parts of my life. I think that's what makes, for me, that's what's made it a serious thing. That's what made it something that's worth me sharing to you guys and being an example of how to approach and how to be aware and how to, really notice certain things about yourself to be able to say, this is how you can now try to fix these things by naming your anxiety. I believe this is what you should do. You should figure out what that thing is. Look up, even though no matter how regular you may think it is, like if you feel like you're just so low energy, if you feel like there's something about the way that you go about, just life in general, I think you have to like monitor yourself and pay attention to yourself and don't take certain things as just, this is just a thing. This is just, whatever. I bet it's a lot of people that go through this, and it might not be. This may be something very particular to the experiences that you've had. And for me, I think mine is a culmination of how I was raised and, seeing, my introduction to money was something of, genuinely, it was like, it was always about bills. My introduction to money was bills. My introduction was money was not like, if you got a lot of money, you can do whatever you want to do in life. I think I learned that. I think I've seen that. I think that's what made, me attracted to business, is because, this seems like the industry or the subject matter that can make me not feel or make me not be in that place of, just only paying bills, like living to pay bills. And I think that was the introduction that I had into just, money as a whole. It's like, money is for using it for things that you need, pay bills, food, and other things that you have to have in life. And I think that's what made me a very need-based person. And I think it connects to the way that I am now. But I'm 25 years old, and I got plans, I got friends, I got people from state, who live in different states, who want to do things. I want to do things, and yet I get so damn anxious about things. I get so anxious about spending money as a whole. Even if I'm planning so far in advance, it still gets me anxious. Like, it still gets me like riled up in the inside, and I just don't understand why sometimes. I just really didn't understand why sometimes, but I'm like looking into all these different things and like, and like truly trying to understand the certain habits that I have that are connected to that. Because it's kind of like, you're this way because you're this way too. Like, you're this way because of this. Like, you're this way because of money. And I think for me, once I was able to name it and identify it, it was easy for me to be able to start making steps out of it, or recognizing what my steps may need to be, instead of just going about it, just hoping that it goes away, or just thinking of it to be something that's small enough, or like you just got to make more money. You just, just seeing it as like, you just got to make more money. It's not that deep. You don't have to do nothing, you don't have to do nothing special or, significant within this. You just have to just make more money and it'll be all right. That'll solve everything. But as I said before, like, since I've been in Chicago, I've made more money each year. And yet this is a feeling that I feel like I've came to truly identify within last year, which was my third year here. This will be my fourth year here in August. So because of that, it made me, because it was kind of fresh on my mind to see that this is what it is. And it affects me in so many different ways. Like, I think it can get so bad for me sometimes that I truly, truly don't even want to leave the crib, you know? When I'm sitting here, like, just thinking, like, I'm constantly thinking about my bank account, constantly thinking about where all of my money is and where it's all sitting, what's on my credit card, what's on my, in my checking, what's in my savings, what's, how much money can I, like, swipe and, my mom's won't mind, you know what I'm saying? How much can I ask for, money from my sister that, so I can kind of be cool and be good and be all right. I feel like my budget was like just so easily broken and so easily kind of, undone because of, unknown expenses or things that just, are unpredictable that you have to always pay for. And in this city, there's always some type of unpredictable. It's always going to be something. I drive, so I always have to, kind of worry about things, expenses with my car and gas and things like that. And I think all those things truly, truly like literally weigh on me. And it's been moments. And I think that's how I know that, a change, not only a change needs to happen, but like that this is a really, really serious thing. Because and I talked to my best friend Juwanza about this, when I was in a place where, oh damn, I've saved, all my bills are paid, and I got money left over. When I had, moments like that, I'm all up to date on everything. I don't owe anybody anything. I don't have to put any random extra money anywhere. I'm not really planning to do anything. I've already kind of set a little bit back. Right now, I'm chilling. And I'm still not cool. Like, I still have this little feeling of like something's about to happen. And I think that fear and that anxiety of not being able to truly be in peace when you should be in peace is a problem. It's going to always be a problem. It's going to be a problem. No matter how you look at it, it's not a good thing whatsoever. And I think that's why, I contemplated, truly, seeking out therapy, and just kind of truly like monitoring my own habits and bringing in new ones. And this is what I feel. This is what I found. I've already researched several therapists and things like this, and that's resources that I believe that honestly we all should just go see someone, even if it's only once a year. Like, treat it just like you would your treat your mental health just like you would every part of your body. I think that's something that we should truly start to promote, is that we have to go and just check in, go and unload. And when you do that, then you realize how much more you may need to come. Try to, start doing it at the beginning of the year or something, or do it, just find a good time. Do it around your birthday. Do it around a time where you can, you've already saved or you already found somebody you can, possibly keep going to them on a regular basis, and you like their schedule, you like the type of person they are. It may take you a few different, sessions to find somebody. But once you found that individual, I would say make that a part of your plan. And this is just me. I'm literally making this up as I go. This is Rodney's prescription to himself, and I'm giving it to you, and hopefully you guys can tell me if it works out for you too. Because I feel like we all battle with some form of anxiety in some way, shape, or form. Some worse than others, and I truly advise you guys to definitely get the help that you need. But I feel like when you're a black individual in America, and you have to deal with so many different things, and you're a person of color, if you're any oppressed group, I understand that there's probably something extra, something in your own personal life that you have to deal with, that no one else can understand. So, name your anxiety. But no, this is the three things that I'm kind of going to bring into my way of kind of attacking my anxiety and really countering the way that it makes me feel. One, working out, just to because it's a lot about making my mind do something else. Like if you allow yourself to only think about these things, that's what it can make you. It can literally make you stress yourself out because that's all you're thinking about. So instead, replacing that with a healthy habit of working out, creating a daily routine, to make myself even more comfortable, create a daily routine, have a calendar, or you could probably, use some type of reminders or something like that to get yourself in some type of habit. But creating that discipline because you're essentially creating discipline in multiple ways. That discipline is what will kind of invigorate you to kind of, increase your work ethic and make you a little more confident within the way that things are going to go, because you have a routine. You've already built up the time, the reps to kind of structure a certain thing in a certain way. And that's the beautiful thing about, a daily routine. If you always are, really good about, cleaning a certain thing or, hygiene or whatever it may be, you don't have to worry about it being an issue on the long run. But if you're like every now and then, if you're whatever, if you're kind of inconsistent with whatever, you're inconsistent within life, it's going to be hard for you to shift and change your a way that you need to be and change a really, really deep part of yourself. So creating a daily routine will create discipline in yourself and also make you be able to kind of combat bad habits. And lastly, save smarter and budget strategically. For me, I think that's something I've already started doing. I've downloaded the Mint app and have attached all of my bills and accounts and all the things that I pay on a daily basis. And it's been a cool way for me to be able to unload what's already in my head. So that I don't have to think about it. I can also set up ways to, save. It has my savings account information on there as well, telling me, exactly how much is being saved, how much interest is being added to my savings account. Because I also suggest that for everybody, do not create a savings account with just a bank. Make sure you have a savings account that accrues with interest in some way, shape, or form, because your savings account with your bank is literally just somewhere to hold your money. And but different strokes for different folks. You might have a specific purpose for that, but for the sake of, if you want to truly, truly get the most out of your money, try to find something that has some type of interest added to it. That's certainly way more than, the percentage that you'll see with most banks being like 0.5, which will take so long for anything to ever be added. It'll be very, very incrementally, and you'll never see a dollar change until, probably 30 years from now. But no, I digress. So my simple action, and I'll wrap this thing up for you guys. My simple action for everyone who's listening to this is like I've said before, name and acknowledge your anxiety. I've shown you guys, this is how I've talked about mine. It's out, no need for intervention. Here it is. And I have these conversations with my girlfriend all the time. I've had conversations with my mom about it, just like how this is something that's, something that's on me. And I've certainly, I think my friends can certainly feel that it's something about money, and it's always something about money with me. And even if we never had those conversations, I think they know that it's something I'm really trying to get a handle on and understand in my own way. I think it's not knowing and being afraid and all those different things. And it's honest. That's all that is understandable, no matter what your anxiety is. But right now, I want you to name it. Figure out what it is. Get the name of it, and if you want to create a nickname for it, you can name that thing of what it is, and then you are able to identify the things within yourself to be able to change those things. Because yes, therapy is good, and I certainly suggest it, and I certainly update you guys on that journey as I started myself. But I think you still have to do certain things for yourself too, because it just has to happen. Like, you have to be the one that makes these changes, and secondly, be open to change. Like, be open to the change. And that's probably a harder part, because once you start realizing certain ugly parts about yourself and flaws that are so deep rooted, it's really, really hard to kind of, be open to doing something different, which is all understandable, but you have to. Like, you must. We need to be receptive, if we really want to stop feeling the way that we feel about it, and just make those necessary steps. Like, you have to move on it. We can't just stay there and think that it's going to change. We got to like meet it halfway, some way, shape, or form. And lastly, be positive. You will make it through. Like, just have, for the sake of having and discovering that you have some type of anxiety, you know, either mild or major. I see this as a mild one because I feel like it can be fixed. I think it's just about changing my mindset on certain things. It's changing my mindset and redirecting my energy towards a certain thing and understanding that these things will be okay. Like, these things will be all right. You don't have to be so, you know, frugal. You don't have to be so weary or so afraid if you spend so much money, will you be able to, you know, take care of yourself after you come back from this trip, or all these, will you be able to, you know, take care of your bills in the way that you need to, and all these different things, but you should have planned better, or this is your fault. And I think it can spiral you into this weird, you know, negative pity, you know, like kind of negative party on yourself, and like you hold it against yourself and you hold it into yourself, and that right there can really, really lead to depression. That type of anxiety and that type of kind of self-loathing can truly put you into a dark place. And so I don't want anyone to go to a dark place when it comes to really searching and looking into themselves. I want you to truly, truly, truly name it, be open to the change, and be positive. So I've named mine. It's money, also known as money anxiety disorder, MAD, which mad money. It is what it is. But I'm going to do something about it. Thank you all for joining me on this really cool, quick solo episode. More to come. A lot of cool guests, you know, up and coming within this year. I'm so glad you're here for the ride. Make sure you go and check out all previous episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcast, everywhere podcasts are available. I think I'm working on iHeartMedia. I got to check on that to see if that's actually up yet. But for all you who are on iHeartMedia, it will be there soon. I thank you. Please reach out to me if you want to, you know, continue these conversations. If you want just somebody just to kind of listen. I'm certainly, you know, don't mind, you know, sharing my email. You can just shoot me an email at lifeisking1@gmail.com. You can go to my website, lifeisking.com. You can come to me on all social media platforms, Kings_memoirs. You can come to the podcast page on IG as well at Simply King Pod. Slide in my DMs. They're open. I am here. I'm a cool guy who certainly doesn't mind kind of continuing these conversations about whatever your anxiety is, because I don't mind having that very general conversation. I'm not a professional, I'm not none of those things, but I certainly can tell you about, like, this is what I noticed in myself. I seen this. These are the methods that I took and how I justified, you know, how I tried to, you know, had to let go of certain justifications of my actions and my behaviors and the habits that I've kind of kept up with that were directly attached to these things, because it damn near diametrically opposed to the person that I really wanted to become. And I think that's the part that you have to notice about yourself when it comes to your anxiety is there's a quality of yourself that's really you don't want to claim. That's really not you. And I'm a person, I want to have, you know, nice things. I want to travel the world and do cool shit. I want to, you know, I don't want to be back in my small town. I want to live in big cities for the rest of my life, or near big cities for the rest of my life. So I can't be anxious about money, because all of those things are going to take money. So I can't be afraid of the thing that I truly have to be very comfortable with, and also understand how to get it in multiple ways. I can't be afraid of a thing that I need to be able to do very well. And I think that's what we have to, you know, how you have to really approach. You got to really name it, personify it damn near, and then see it as something that you got to like, look, bro, we going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here. We're going to get you right. We're going to get this all together for real. But thank you all for listening. This is the Soulfully Conscious podcast for humans simply being humans. Make sure you subscribe, leave a review and rate on Apple Podcast. I would certainly love to kind of read some of those on upcoming episodes and shout out, and also utilize those things. Utilize everyone who's writes a review who's ever wrote a review and writes a review within 2019. You're going to go on my email list of people I need to reach out to receive a shirt. Like that's how I'm going to do it. So when the shirts come out, all the people who did a review without me asking, did a review when I asked for it, you're going to be one of the first people who gets a shirt for le free, for pro bono, and that's just on the launch of the shirts. After that, there'll probably be, some giveaways, some other opportunities for you to get a shirt, but nonetheless, well, more to come. Thank you. But this is the Soulfully Conscious podcast of humans simply being humans. I'm Rodney Perry, also known as King, and this is Simply King. Peace.